Thanks for watching. Let's take a look at Siaya County next.
Duncan Kayemba was in the thick of things in Siaya County, which happens to be NASA leader Raila Odinga's home base. And as he tells us, the situation was so dire that some IEBC officials simply could not make it to any polling station to conduct the exercise. Take a look.
In Siaya County, the situation was the same, total defiance, and they said they were defying what you could call the rule of law or the order that had been given by security agencies that nobody should mount illegal roadblocks. But they said they were carrying out that actually following what they said orders from their political leaders who had said there will be no election in this particular town. Before you could access Siaya town and actually all roads within Siaya County, there were roadblocks that had mounted, or what you could say they blockaded the roads, and the youth were actually inspecting all vehicles that were moving just to ensure that no election material passes. In Bondo town, for instance, on Wednesday and Thursday, they lit bonfires actually at the center of the town, and these were some of the images that we captured in Bondo town. That was the same position even in Siaya town, bonfires all over, huge billboards written National Resistance Movement. And actually, they were very, very strict even to the police. At one point, we had the privilege of driving following a convoy of security personnel who are in a full rolly plus another escort, but that did not cow them away. Even the police had no choice but actually to maneuver their way out of the roadblocks that had been mounted right as you enter Siaya town. And this is what we were able to capture when we drove actually following the security personnel who were actually trying to disperse the youth that were very, very actually resistant to any force from the security personnel. You can see they've already killed a dog and they've hung it over there at the gate. And that dog, we understand, was actually killed and put there at shortly after 9. And they've made sure, just like the other places that we were in Bondo and Rarieda, they've made sure that nobody gains access to that particular polling center. We don't know the number of polling stations that would have been actually in there, because a polling center can have multiple polling stations if the August 8th arrangement is anything to go by. Mzee, mbona munaua umbwa munafungwa kageti lakini sasa?
Okay.
No,
okay, we were here from like yesterday. Yes. We haven't seen any IEBC and any papers coming. So we decided to put this statue here to represent a returning officer from Jubilee so that they see what is going on. The picture itself displays what you can see.
If you can turn with the right there, of course, there's a heavy... There are police vehicles that are driving in at a very, very high speed. But the fact is, as I said, we are having a group of demonstrators that they are not shaken by the presence because they are still here and you can see. So I was asking them, why would you exactly have a dog and hang a dog over there? Why exactly would you put a dog there?
Okay, first of all, you can see it was told from initial time that this election was not credible. It was not fair and free and fair. And there's also some other minimum aspect that was told to be, that was requested by the principal.
Yes. I think we will have to drive with the police just to see exactly what is happening. But as I can see, those are the police officers that are walking in. And that particular direction, if I was to tell you what is happening, they've erected a very huge billboard there that they've actually written on top of it, National Resistance Movement Headquarters. And I think that is the reason why the police have been called in. You saw they were driving in at some supersonic speed, if there is such a word to use in this particular context. But they are really zooming in very fast. Of course, the strategy could be to drive to scare the youth away. But you've seen even with the police pulling up where we were, the youth are not moving. And I think this could be what some of them actually wanted. We've had like 3 roadblocks between this Karapul Primary School and Siaya Township, where they lit bonfires and done all that pertains to making it impossible. No public service vehicles or PSVs have been on this road since then. So we're not so sure what will happen, but we'll try and catch up with the police. You just have to bear with us, but we are trying to catch up with the police to see if we will be able to exactly see what they will do. If you are able to see the farthest end of this footage, that is where they've erected a very huge signpost, and it has been written on the National Resistance Movement headquarters, or the Siaya base. So we will try and see. These are the bonfires, the roads that have been barricaded, that the police, I think they are coming in to try and see if they will be able to remove them. And funny enough is that the youth, they are not actually bothered at all to remove any of the obstacles. Even the police vehicles are being forced to actually drive off-road. So clearly, in terms of paralyzing mode of transport, this is exactly, you can see they are still putting the rocks here. So exactly this is what we are talking about. We want to catch up with the police at that corner, because that is where we had the biggest group, or the biggest gang of the youth. So we will try to negotiate this particular corner and see. Of course, you've seen behind that lorry, it is full of security personnel who have actually pulled up here. I think they've decided not to go beyond this particular point. So that is what we were trying to say. You look at some sense of defiance in terms of what the youth here, they are trying to do, because they seem not even to be worried or moved by the fact that there's heavy police presence on the ground. So this is where they had actually put up that particular board, and I think they must have taken off. They must have been tipped that police were actually on their case. But this particular place was not passable. But yes, actually we can be able to sight them from far, as the police are also giving chase behind us. So we will try and move to that particular place where we had the NRM, where we had that NRM poster at that corner. And then I think the police, they've gotten more reinforcement. So there are 3 more vehicles that are coming in to reinforce the police. And the corner where we are, past Barack Obama University College, that is across from College of Mombasa University, is exactly where we are having the demonstrators. So this is the area where the youth are, yes, and that is it. Actually, we are at the place where they've put a very huge signpost that reads that reads NRM. So this is the place where we've said they've barricaded this particular road, and they are saying that no one should, they've actually cited the police, and that is it. That is the National Resistance Movement, Uhuru Must Go. They've seen the police who've arrived here. They're also driving in with their lorry here. So that is it. So that is exactly the picture where what we are trying to say. So this is what they've been able to put under. That is essentially the picture you get, Akisa. That is why public transport or the PSVs, they've totally kept off the road, because at any obstacle or at any illegal roadblock that you have to pass there, you really have a lot of explaining to do. And this is what I was saying, that this is the place where they've decided to come up and put this huge billboard the middle of the road. Of course, they've clearly labeled it the National Resistance Movement. The local leadership here, from members of county assemblies, or that is the MCAs, members of parliament, were actually in support of all this.
Our people from local teachers who are hired have already exited those assignments. So he's actually trying to use the services of those people who have been procured from outside. And the other issue is that our people who are given intentions to be used as transport, to offer transport services, have also downed their tools. And we know that government vehicles are going to be used at night to ferry election materials to particular polling stations. So in our view, I think the message is clear that our people have resisted and have rejected this election.
Take cognizance that majority of the employees of IEBC, the presiding officers and deputy returning officers, had resigned. They don't run the job. So unless it's going to get employees of IEBC from other areas, I can only wish him well, but I want to remind him, don't balkanize the country. The whole country may think that it's only Luo land, that people are not voting. People have not voted in Mombasa, people have not voted in Machakos, people have not voted in Kakamega.
What assurance do we have as far as free flow of traffic or transport on the roads is concerned?
But by today, all these things would have not been there. By today. All these things were supposed to end by yesterday, and they were bringing them, talking about doing elections in Bondo by yesterday was even a mistake. We had said it earlier, there was not going to be an election. That stands. So if at all they heeded what we were saying, there would have been no need of even coming with ballot boxes in the first case in Bondo. It was unnecessary because people are not going to vote anyway. So if that didn't happen, roads would be free even by now. Roads would have been free even by yesterday. But this idea of attempting to come over and insisting that they want to do elections is exactly why those things are not there, are on the road. So I'm saying that if Chebukati told us by yesterday that he had counted our votes as those who didn't vote, that was enough for us. And that's exactly what we want. We are not going to physically go to a polling station to vote. We are going to stay at home tomorrow. We stayed at home yesterday, and we are going to stay at home any other day that this election is called.
So will we allow the materials to be brought to polling stations now that you people will remain at home?
We don't need materials. For what? For what? So why can't you allow them to move them? No, what we are saying, those are not our things. Those are not our issues. The issue of, we are asking, why bring ballot papers or ballot materials when us, who are supposed to use them, are saying we don't need them? So they need to count that we have voted, if that's exactly what they had wanted initially.
What I want to say, Raila's words are low. Nobody will be out for elections. Whether in life or death, we will ensure that nobody votes. Number one, the voting day of 26 October, which was the birthday for Uhuru Kenyatta, reminds us what had happened on the same date when they were opening Russia Hospital. We were massacred. We were not prepared for it, and will not be prepared for it. And we know that elections, even though Luo region are the ones who have been producing a reform-minded bloc, we've not been benefiting from general elections. Presidency has not been helping us. And unless and until Raila shall have told us that there is a level playing ground, we will not participate. Over our dead body, we will not participate.
Yes. But you understand that the government says, IEBC says at least they need to move. Will you then allow at least the body to transport materials, at least even from the constituency headquarters to polling stations, because that was the problem?
Over our dead body, we know that we need to have agents. We've told our brothers, in fact, one of them, one of the POs, ought to have been my blood sister. we've told them to keep off.
After IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati perhaps succumbed to pressure and postponed or rather cancelled that particular election that would have been conducted today, this came as a sigh of relief to other supporters and the youth, and this is exactly what they gave that particular evening on Friday when that announcement from Nairobi reached this particular part of the country. This was the reaction that we received from the youth who actually chanted late into the night in Siaya town.
Ile hali ilikuwa watu wa Siaya hasa mavijana ambao unaona hapa nyuma wanaimba na wanasema mambo za uhuru must go, wangewao karibu wote walishachukua kauli, wakakata kauli kama kura itapigwa kesho ili wakufe vile huyu amesema, vile Jacob juzi alisema Kisumu, vile Kenyatta aliua watu hiyo mwaka wa 1965, watu wengine wazaliwa upya.
Okay, mimi kwa majina naitwa Udoganda. Mimi ndio nakuanga komanda wa youth wa Siaya hata kwa maandamano. Na tulikata kauli hapa Siaya ya kwamba hata kama Uhuru ameleta jeshi lori milioni 5, kesho hakuna uchaguzi ingefanyika Siaya. Tungekufa kwa barabara na tungeambia Uhuru Kenyatta ya kwamba hata kama tumekufa watoto wetu wamebaki.
Kwa majina naitwa Bento Juang, niko sehemu ya Siaya na nimesema kura hatupigi. Na Uhuru amehangaisha sisi, chakula kuna, watoto wako na shida, tuko na shida kama wamama.
No election.
No election. Kama kuna Raila, no election. Hatutatoka nje.
Tunajua kwamba wewe mchungaji ni wa kanisa gani na matumaini yako baada ya kanisa sasa uchaguzi hatimaye umesimamishwa. Maoni yako kama mzee wa kanisa?
Kama watumishi wa Mungu Siaya, tunasema kwamba tunashukuru kwa ajili kuahirishwa katika hii uchaguzi. Tunaomba kwamba Mungu amesaidia hii nchi yetu ya Kenya, na tunashukuru sana. Kongole kwa serikali, pia kwa mwenyekiti kwa kuahirisha uchaguzi. Asante na tunashukuru Mungu. Tunaomba amani iwe nasi milele na milele. Asante sana.
Sisi mimi binafsi kama naongea kutoka Siaya. Mimi uchaguzi hii komishona ya IEBC haina haki na ukweli. Hii ndio kwa maana sisi hatuna imani naye, ndio sababu hata baba amesema amekataa tusirudi uchaguzi.
Na tumengojea baba aongee Jumatatu. Jumatatu chenye baba atasema tutafuata. Hiyo tu. Yeah. Chebukati is not better than Musando.
Jambo mimi kwa majina naitwa Dickson Ayuka. Jambo la muhimu kabisa ni kwamba Chebukati mwenyewe alisema kwamba uchaguzi hako na ukweli kama atafanya uchaguzi wa haki. Na tena akarejea tena mara ya pili akasema uchaguzi wake utakuwa wa haki na kweli. Sasa hatujui yeye msimamo wake uko wapi. Anaelekeza Wakenya katika mlimbo wenye hatuelewi kama sisi wa Kenya. Hatutaki uchaguzi kama huo, hatutaki chochote. Vile alisema uchaguzi haufanyiki.